What's cracking, yo? Welcome back to Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody for participating in the poll, whether you voted, whether you commented, or all of the above. On the poll about Larry Bird and the potential of us seeing another white American basketball player be at least as good as him. With that being said, the results are in, and there was a overwhelming result. Now, if you did not see the poll question, I'll put it up on the screen, and I said, it's been over 40 years since Bird was drafted, and he is still the baddest white boy to ever lace him up. No keyword here, white American. White American, not European, not foreign players. No white American has really even got close to him. Do you think we'll ever see another white American basketball player be as good as Larry Bird in our lifetime? Specifically, in our lifetime, will we be alive to see it, right? Vote and we will review and discuss at a later time, and that time is now. And like I said, the results are in. It's been about a week, and we had 140 votes. I was not expecting that, so that was pleasant to see. And out of 140 votes, which is a significant sample size, the results were overwhelming. 91% voted, hell no, Larry is one of one. And 9% voted, absolutely, it is only a matter of time. So overwhelming, to say the least. Now, my personal opinion, and we'll read through the comments here. My personal opinion is, hell no. Not in my lifetime. I don't think we'll ever see another white American player at least as good as Bird. I don't see it happening. And I will expand upon that a little more as I go through the other segment of this video. But let's see what everybody else said. Alex Bro said, potential-wise, I think Luka or Nikola has a chance too. Depending on how their body holds up, but they're both playing insane basketball right now. Well, Alex Bro, I appreciate the comment. But as you know, and we talked about it in the comment section, and you didn't realize that you didn't realize it said white American. That's why you mentioned those European players. But I appreciate submitting the comment. Anyway, Lady Balls writes, I agree with Magic when he said there will never, ever be another Larry Bird. Magic words are probably true. Even if, let's just say there was a player that comes up better than Larry Bird. Larry Bird is so unique, there will never ever be another one like him. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. But I don't think we'll ever see a player as impactful or as good as him that's a white American. Not my lifetime. Tomcat writes, no way, absolute gangsta. Larry would dominate in any NBA era. Oh, I don't disagree with you. Larry's skill set transcends times to generations before him and generations after him. He is a well-equipped, high IQ, highly skilled basketball player, and he would give any era the business on a consistent basis. I agree with you 100%, Tomcat. Tomcat and Lady Boss, thank you for submitting your comments. Next, Cindy Knudsen, who submitted some great videos recently. Appreciate that, Knudsen. Cindy Knudsen. No one, white, black, or otherwise. Larry's a legend for so many reasons. You know, Larry's a legend. Larry is a legend for so many reasons. And like I said, he's supremely unique. And what he did for the game is truly special. Truly special. Truly special. My boy Aram, what up, baby? What up? Also a subscriber to 2 Raw for Sports, my favorite YouTuber. So go check out 2 Raw for Sports and 2 Raw for TV. Aram said, I vote no. He is a true unicorn. Most white kids in this country gravitate more towards baseball, hockey, and football. I'm 64 and have yet to see anyone like Bird. White or black, going back to the early 70s. Rick Barry and Pistol Pete come in a distant second, along with those guys like Bob Pettit, Dan Issel, Billy Cunningham. The only guy who comes close to Bird is Jerry West. However, I have Jerry around top 16 all time, when Bird is my number 3 all time player. Appreciate that, Aram. You are full of basketball knowledge and a true historian of the game. Now, when I put this poll out, I wasn't looking so much at players before Larry's time, or players that played for the majority of Larry's time, or even that players that got drafted within 5 years of Larry retiring. I pretty much didn't include a lot of those players. If you got drafted, within 2 to 3 years of Larry's retirement, I probably, I'll include you. But nonetheless, true historian of the game is Aram, and I appreciate it. And yeah, you make some good points there, man. You really do. A lot of white kids really do gravitate towards baseball, hockey, and football. And the National Basketball Association, over time, has really become a dominant, African American sport. And now Europeans and foreigners are really making a staple for themselves and making a name for themselves coming into the NBA. Appreciate the submission, Aram. Russell Turner writes, Bird was one of a kind, stone cold assassin that backed up all his trash talk, and like magic, he was 3 steps ahead of everyone else on the court. There will be other great white players, but not like him. That mold has been broken. I don't disagree with you, fam, at all. Stone cold, and yes, as I've learned through, all these reaction videos, and I've learned more about Larry Bird than I ever thought. Dude was the ultimate trash talker, the ultimate troll, and I love it because it's so funny the type of trash talking and stuff he would do on the floor. Thank you for the submission. Red Testa writes, Jerry West, Pistol Pete, Rick Barry, Bird was special. LOL, acting like white guys can't play basketball. Luka's making a run, and very young as well. Nikola going to be hard to compare with so different basketball rules and gameplay. I think I commented to this one, and I was like, yo, if I did comment, I thought I did, and if I didn't, hey, I ain't say white boys can't play basketball. I'm just saying it's been evident that outside of Bird, there hasn't been many that has gotten close to his level in a predominantly African American sport. Yeah, we've had some good white American basketball players. Some all-time greats, a few all-time greats, and then some pretty good players and role players. A couple all-stars here and there, some all-stars here and there. I ain't saying that at all, but we know the sport is predominantly black, and the Europeans are coming on strong, man. These foreigners are coming on strong, no question about it. But I agree with you. Going to be hard to compare with the different basketball rules and the play. But because Larry transcends generations, like his skill set can be applied to any era. And I think it's easy to say based on the eye test that he would dominate any version of the league we've seen so far. And because I feel like he can do that and his skill set can compare and can be dropped in any era, and he'll still be efficient, and he'll still be Larry Bird. I find it easy now that we can compare him to these other players because he's just that versatile. You know what I mean? But I do get what you're saying. I do what you're saying. And everybody, like I said again, thank you for the comment submissions and everybody that polled. I appreciate it. Now, I put down a list of some white American players that came to mind. And as I'm going through the list, I'm realizing that there's only been a handful of like all-time greats / all-stars. And then a lot of the other ones were role players of note. So I'm not putting players, I'm not mentioning like J.J. Redick or Cal Korver. All right, no way. They're like, it's not even like, no. So just some players to note that are probably on a higher level than a Cal Korver or a J.J. Redick, who are bona fide role players. All right, we got John Stockton out of Spokane, Washington. John Stockton, a legend, all-time assist leader. And as great as John Stockton was, as amazing of a player as John Stockton was, fundamentally sound, all that good stuff, he doesn't compare to Larry Bird. And John Stockton is probably the best player on this list that played most of his career post Larry Bird. I think Stockton might have got drafted just a couple years before Bird retired, so I put him in there because he played most of his tenure after Bird's retirement. But I'm pretty sure John Stockton's the best player on the list that I have, and he doesn't even compare to Larry Bird. As great as Stockton was. So that tells you where the separation is between Larry Bird and everybody else that has played post Larry retirement or close to post Larry retirement. That tells you how far off everybody is as I continue to name people on that list. Keep that in your head. All right. Next, Chris Mullin, good player, pretty great player. Not a legend by any means, but Chris Mullin out of New York City, not even close. I threw Jason Williams in there. He's like fringe all-star. He did make an all-star game. I'm pretty sure he made at least one all-star game. But Jason Williams out of West Virginia, not even close. Kevin Love, multiple-time all-star, one of the best rebounders I've ever seen in his heyday. Can really shoot the ball, high IQ player, out of Santa Monica. But no, Kevin Love, not even close to Larry Bird. All right, Mark Price out of Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure Mark Price made one or more All-NBA teams. But he was a member of the 50-40-90 club, was Mark Price. But still not even close to Larry Bird. Jeff Hornacek played along with John Stockton in Utah. One-time All-Star from Illinois. John Stockton even won 2 3-point contests, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, not John Stockton. Jeff Hornacek. Why say Jeff Hornacek? Tongue twisted. Jeff Hornacek out of Illinois. One-time All-Star, 2-time 3-point champion. Not even close. Gordon Hayward. I like Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward made one All-Star team. Gordon Hayward's from Indiana. I like Larry. But not even close. And I like Gordon. Gordon fell off, man. I had high hopes for Gordon Hayward. I really did. But he fell off tremendously. Injuries and I think a little bit of lack of assertiveness into capitalizing on his potential. Dan Marley, a.k.a. Thunder Dan. That boy could shoot, too. Thunder Dan from Michigan. He was a 3-time All-Star, and he was a very good defensive player. I think he made a couple all-defensive teams, if I'm not mistaken. Thunder Dan did, but not even close to Bird. Tyler Hero out of Wisconsin. Still not close to Bird. And then as we go down the list, it just starts getting... Scott Skiles was a pretty good player, not even close to Bird. And then now, if you want to mention the J.J. Redick, if you want to mention the Kyle Korvers, Brooke Lopez's, Keith Van Horn's, Mike Miller's, the Kirk Heinrichs, the Christian Laettner. Christian Laettner was a good player. So I thought Brent Barry was a good player too. But none of these guys are even remotely close. And it's been 40 years. And the best player we have to show is John Stockton. And that's no slight against John Stockton because he is an all-time great player. One of the greatest point guards to ever play the game. The all-time assist leader. And he's the best person we have to present. And he doesn't even sniff Larry Legend. Doesn't even sniff Larry. Founding member of the 50-40-90. 3-time NBA 3-point contest champion. Talking shit during the 3-point contest. Beating people with his warm-ups on. Three-time NBA champion. Back to back to back MVP. Amongst all his other accolades. It's been 40 years. And nobody has came close. And that is why I don't think in our lifetime we will see a white American sniff the greatness that is Larry Bird. And when you start going through the list of all the white Americans, you start to realize that there has been far more better white European players and white foreigner players that have a better resume collectively. The group of white Europeans, white foreigners versus the white Americans, the Europeans are slaying right now. I would have had more European players had I included them in this poll that could be like not as good as Larry, but still a legend, or with time we'll see where this player ends up kind of conversation. And I know people come to mind Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic for the foreigners, but they have a lot to work to do. They have a lot to work to do. A lot of work to do to be able to even sniff Larry right now, because they are far away. Yeah, they're putting up a bunch of big stats and an inflated NBA where it's really easy to build up statistics and really easy to get numbers, especially as ball dominant as Luka Doncic is. Nikola Jokic, not so much. He doesn't monopolize the ball, but and he's still able to get his numbers, which is incredible. But Luka really monopolizes the ball. Larry never monopolized the ball. Never. Larry did what he did within the flow. And it's incredible when you can do that. So, no. White American, no. No. And even if you want to throw in the great, foreign players, white foreign players, still no. Still no. Because I don't think Luka or Nikola would be as effective playing back in Larry's time when it was more physical and you had bigs. And Nikola Jokic, as great as he is today, would not be doing what he's doing to this extent if he played against like a Mutombo every night, Alonzo Mourning every night, a Shaq every night, a Hakeem Olajuwon every night. You know what I mean? David Robinson every night. You know what I mean? Like it ain't the same. The only center Nikola Jokic really has to compete with really is like close to his level is Embiid, and you see when he plays Embiid, he doesn't quite look the same versus the other centers in the league, quote unquote centers. You know what I mean? So, not to stray off subject with the white Europeans, but no, not happening. Larry's one of one, and in our lifetime, I don't. Before we die, I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't. You could just say within the next 100 years, I don't think we'll see it. Larry's special, man. Special. Holding it down. Holding it down. Holding it down. And yeah, I know. Larry, not only has Larry been a great white American basketball player, just all the ethnicities that's ever come through the NBA, he is still a all-time great player and better than almost anybody, almost everybody that's ever stepped foot on the NBA court. Period. 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 Larry Bird is a top 10 wherever you want to put him on that list. He is top 10. You cannot deny that. If anybody has Larry Bird outside their top 10, you're wrong. Wherever you want to put him inside that 10. So there has not been 10 players in the history of this earth that has ever been better than Larry Bird. But I just wanted to break it down to white Americans just because of a representation thing. Like who's representing right now on that Larry Bird level for the white Americans. Anyway, let me know what you think about it. Again, appreciate for everybody for chiming in, submitting, and being an active participant in the poll. More polls to come, and we'll continue to discuss them after a week of them being presented to you all. All right? Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. We out, baby.